Thank you! Thank you!
Okay, ready? I don't know if anybody's going to follow.
Perfect. One more this way. Thank you.
Millie! Center! Center! Yes, right! Straight ahead, straight ahead, straight ahead! Straight ahead!
Millie!
Okay,
No
I'm
one's looking this way.
Top leader! Everybody up here! Sean, over here, Sean! 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 David! Thank you.
Right by the tree.
Over here, guys. Straight out, straight out, straight out.
Yeah, sorry. I got it.
That is my operation. Beautiful. Keep going, keep going. Together, it's right. And one more. You don't like it. Guys, together this way, please.
David, Lily, Pam, kids.
Love it. They grow up so fast. Remember when you were 11 years old? Nice, right here at me. Beautiful. Oh, we got more. Let's just bring everybody in. Why not? Jump in.
Angle yourselves to the light, guys.
Everybody, gorgeous. They're stunning. Yeah. Listen, Millie.
It's based on it. It's Union Western. Right here. I don't know if Millie even makes it.
Left shoulder. Straight ahead.
Straight ahead of you, Winona. Right here, please. Hold that.
I love you. This is the cheap opera impersonation right here. Yeah, this is the cheap opera embroidery. It's a little bit, yeah.
For the 90s, baby, let's get it.
I know, I'm so excited. It's been a long time coming, but we're really excited for the fans to get to see something we've been working on for a while. In so many ways, I feel that I am like 11, but I also feel that she's very strong, and I try to channel that inner strength that she has anytime I'm dealt with conflict. Oh my gosh, why don't you see her? Well, you see her in this new established town, and she's struggling with who she is and how she can gain some independence from the people that have controlled her and, you know, had her conform to their ideology for a very long time, and she's breaking that habit in the 4th season. I love you. I hope you get all the answers you've been wanting to know, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of like starts as a long distance relationship, and they're trying to figure themselves out at the same time as kind of figuring each other out, and yeah, I think it's like a really they grow a lot, I think, this season, and it's a really pretty thing. I got to do all my scenes with the incredible Eduardo Franco, who's like a brilliant actor, and I was just in so much luck to be in scenes with him, and he's become a really, really close friend of mine. So it is in a lot of danger, and all of our characters are trying to keep it alive.
I love you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
He's been in high school for a bit, and it's a rough ride initially. Of course, it's hard to figure out where you're going to fit in, especially when you're a nerd, and especially a nerd in the 80s. But I think he's starting to find his footing, and just when he does, he feels like his friend group may be a little bit more fragile than he had hoped. He hoped that it would transition to high school better than it's looking like it might. But he's having a good time with it, I think. It really is stunning. There's a historic house in the Atlanta area that we were able to film at that is very well known. Like, so we had to like decorate everything to make it look as you see it does on the wall over there.
I think the season kind of touches on the lore, a little bit of what's kind of going on behind the scenes, and I think that's really fun for fans. And some really great action sequences.
Yeah, well, it was a real house. I think it's actually like a bed and breakfast in real life. The amazing thing was that the art department and the production design, they recreated the whole house on a soundstage for us, which was just phenomenal and insane. Like, to scale, it was like it really such a privilege, honestly, to get to work on something like that. It was just so cool. Man, I mean, I've been asking the brothers for years, as long as they've been going, like, what the whole what the story is, like, why these things exist, what is happening, and they always neglect to answer. But I think this season we finally start to get some breadcrumbs and figure some things out about what's going on and why it's there. And for me, that was like, yes, I need to know this.
What I can say is, you know, in the past we've seen all these monsters. We've seen the Demogorgon, the Tesla Hydra. If they're all monsters, he's the puppet master to the monsters. Yeah, basically, you know, at the end of last season, we saw Jonathan and Nancy kind of make this promise to each other. They were going to be together, and then, you know, the whole Byers family have moved to California, and I think they're all struggling. You know, I think Jonathan is struggling in the distance with his relationship, Will's struggling with the distance of his friends, and Eleven's struggling to fit in. So, you know, and I think obviously Jonathan's met this new friend, Argyle, and he's found someone who he can confide in, and it's a safe space. And I think he uses him a bit as his therapist to kind of, you know, get through what he's going through emotionally in his relationship.
I think everyone's gotten to know and sort of like fall in love with all of the characters because we have such brilliant young actors that I'm so proud of, and they're just the best. And so it's them. It's like the stakes are ratcheted up even higher. We were in Lithuania shooting, so we actually only did like just a couple of scenes in outside Hawkins, but it was a beautiful experience, definitely. Just we've been through so much together that no one else would understand except for each other, because you know, it's just been such a crazy ride. So I think, yeah, we trust each other.
It's not just the upside down. Everyone's separated. There's 4 different parts in the show. There's Hawkins, Russia, California, and another mysterious place I can't even speak about. I feel like any teenager can relate to anybody on the show, but the stuff that Lucas is going through this season, I couldn't agree
Oh my gosh, can we say what's happening now? All I know is that I got to watch, I've watched the episodes and I was terrified. I actually had to watch it like this even though I knew what was happening. I just couldn't believe how scary it was. So I think the fans are gonna be really terrified. You know, Karen Wheeler is always, she's there, she's the mom, she's still clueless, you know.
I mean, I think everyone's already been saying, you know, it's bigger and it's sort of a triptych of stories between Russia and California and Indiana and darker, and they really are going after crafting it like a horror movie every season. They're kind of going after a different vibe, and this one is by far the scariest and darkest. You just get to know more about why this is happening there. And the mythology, I think, is really beautifully and terrifyingly kind of brought to a head for all the, everything you've seen in seasons 1, 2, and 3.
The minute I reveal anything about Hopper and Joyce this season, I mean, I will tell you this, in the trailer you probably saw that Hopper's in a very snowy environment and Murray and Joyce show up in a crashed plane in a snowy environment, so perhaps there will be some sort of meeting. I mean, Joyce really misses Hopper and Hopper really misses Joyce, and I think they would love to see each other again, and I think they're going to try to go to any lengths to make that happen. Yeah, it was very difficult this year. It was a lot of action for me. It was a lot of cold weather. It was like barefoot in the snow in Lithuania, like 20 below, and I wasn't eating a lot of food because I was very emaciated this season, and so it was a brutal season on me physically and emotionally, but I really like doing stuff like that because I feel like it provides the audience with a rich experience of something, and it allows them this big catharsis that, so I'm very happy to, suffer in that way. Well, it's got a face, it's got a brain, it's got almost a human form, so it's a different threat. We've seen a shadow monster, we've seen demogorgons, we've seen demodogs, and now we're seeing sort of the brains behind the operation, and I think that becomes even more terrifying. It's a lot more psychological horror this year, almost as we had in season 1 too, where people feel like they're going crazy, and that's always scarier to me than external threats.
Vecna is a very interesting new villain that we have this year. We've seen them in the trailer a bit, and it's definitely the most terrifying threat that Hawkins has ever seen. And because of that, this season really is just a lot darker than it's ever been. And also I think a lot of that comes from us being a little bit more mature now, so the show has kind of matured with us. The Duffers are just really good at constantly raising the stakes to keep things interesting and fresh. And I guess that means going bigger and darker than ever before. I mean, it was one of those moments at the table where everyone's just like, the puzzle pieces are clicking, and I'm just really excited to share that with the fans. Yeah, it's definitely, they had a very complicated relationship, but it was still her brother, and his death really shook up her life in a lot of ways. Her environment has changed a lot, and I think in typical Max fashion, she kind of deals with pain and any kind of vulnerability by shutting herself off from the closest people in her life, which ends up hurting her more than doing any good, I guess.
I think in season 1 I was very similar to Will, and I've grown up over the years and we're very different now, but that's what makes the acting challenge so fun. Will is just very scared of everything, of the world and stuff, and I'm pretty brave and outgoing, so yeah. Oh my god, this season I worked with Eduardo Franco, and he is a gem. I love him, he is so funny, I had the best time with him. Yeah, so he plays Argyle, and he's in our little core group in California, so it was so fun getting to work with him and a new castmate. Just the goriness of it, it's shocking how scary it is, but it's amazing. They did a great job.
Erica definitely steps in as a leader this season. Her character evolves as the season goes on. You kind of see what she could bring to the table and how she contributes to the team to help the team fight off this new obstacle. And Hawkins, you have evolved a lot. Always stay humble, stay grounded. Don't let this industry kind of get to you a little bit, and know who you are. Know who you are.
I can't tell you too much, but it's just, the world's going to be bigger than it ever has been before. And that's why the darker the better, the richer it's going to be.
What's up, dude? What's up, man?
Roy. He's best friends with that lovely man that just kissed me. He is also more than just his friend. He's also like his unofficial therapist. He's there to hear him out and give his lovely psychedelic advice. High octane, that's all I gotta say. That's how you describe it. It's action. That's what definitely goes down in the California side of the whole story. It's pretty insane. I was there for some of the stuff that they were filming that was part of that sort of action, and I was watching it on the monitor. It looked amazing. I can't wait to see it fully done, like the final product. It looks crazy. You know, they tend to show a lot, but this time they really do keep the camera on all the wonderful, gruesome horror. The cast and crew, by the way, they work very, very hard. You know, they went through a lot in the California side, out there in that desert, the beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico.
The danger, you know, just becomes way more imminent, like, you know, in our household, for instance, and you know, there's a lot to draw on having teenagers myself, that where you know, the whole town is kind of in a frenzy with this new development. So
play a character called Eddie Bunsen. He's the head of the Dungeons and Dragons club at the time.
Oh, I had a great batch. I was working with Joe and Maya and Natalia and Gaten and Sadie and yeah, spoiled. They were all lovely.
Where would you rather work, Scoops Ahoy or Family Videos?
Scoops Ahoy.
Who has the better hair, Steve Harrington or Eddie Munson?
Steve Harrington.
What would you rather fight, the Mind Flayer or Vecna?
Oh, Vecna.
I think I describe it that like it has the same things that have always made the show so special, which is a combination of like humor, lightness, friendship, and like scary, amazing adventure. But the thing that makes the season special is that we really start to unpack the lore of what all this upside down nonsense is really about. And so that's what I'm most excited about. We get some answers. We are just the most supportive friends you've ever seen. We're just like, go get them, you can do it. We're just really encouraging each other at Family Video and then throughout the whole season. And I don't know, I think that everyone's gonna be really happy with the way that friendship progresses. But you know, all the sets, as creepy as they look, as an actor you just walk in and are so blown away by the art department. We're so lucky that the show is so successful and that we can build these unbelievable spaces to act in, and your imagination doesn't have to work that hard to fill in the blanks on like how incredible the world is, and so just props to the art department.
The Stranger Things premiere, I played the role of Patrick in the new Stranger Things season 4. He's a basketball Hawkins star. He has friends, he has family, but then a turn of events happens for him. So the main thing I can tell you about this season is a way more matured season. And, you know, it's gonna have your suspense, it's gonna have a little bit of horror, but then it's gonna have that family-oriented feeling to it. And that's what I love about it this season. It's got a little bit of different, you know what I'm saying, variations to it. So, yeah.
Well, it's bigger than prior seasons because the narrative takes us to so many places. We've always been a Hawkins-based show, but this year that's only one of like 4 different narrative storylines. So the scope of it, the global span of it, is incomparable to prior seasons. And as far as darkness, the villain this year, the motivations of the villain, the things the villain does, is haunting. I mean, I'm excited for fans to see that even though there's been a lot of talk about how it's the biggest season, it's the darkest season, it's still Stranger Things. It's still the characters and the heart that fans love. And that's what brought us to this moment. It's not just the 80s, it's not just the genre stuff, it's the heart of these characters, and that's very much intact. The cinematic scope of season 4, the action, the visual effects, the sheer spectacle of the visuals is jaw-dropping.
A lot of my favorite films are referenced in season 4. So I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed. And a lot of the classic sci-fi and horror films are there.
You know, I just like finding out the origin of it was, I mean, it's brutal. It's very scary. This is the scariest season, but it's also the funniest season. It's the most action-packed season. It's the most moving season. So it makes sense that we would find out more of the origins of all of that and where all of this is coming from.
lot of the season was inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street, specifically the first Nightmare on Elm Street and the third Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. And then he just sent in a tape for this role of Victor Creel, and it just felt like destiny, and you couldn't be a nicer guy and a better actor, and I'm excited for people to see him in the show. I think he's phenomenal. But I mean, we're still nerds. Like he signed a bunch of posters for us, and you know, I have a stand-up of Freddy Krueger signed by him, and so whatever. I can't, even though we're doing the show, I can't like not nerd out and get what I need.
One of the things I'm most excited about is just we go into a lot of the backstory of 11, and we get to see what happened in Hawkins' lab, and I think that storyline I'm just really excited for people to see, because I think there have been a lot of questions that fans have had, and we're finally starting to answer some of those big questions, and so I'm just excited to see the reaction to that.
That and their new big bad, Vecna, just even based on the reaction of the premiere.
It's very scary.
I'm excited for people to experience him. It's darker in terms of the themes that we explore. The kids are not kids; they're moving into high school, and so for us, high school was a dark time, and it's represented in this season by this monster Vecna. And I know we were trying to evoke, as we said, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Pennywise from It, and all the monsters that scared us the most as kids. The season's, bigger, in the sense that it's longer. It's almost twice the length of all the other seasons. It's nearly 800 pages of scripts. So it's really more than one. It's really 2 seasons, which is we're breaking it up. It felt like too much at once. So it's volume 1, volume 2. So it's bigger in terms of that. It's bigger in terms of scope and scale. We have our characters not all in Hawkins for the first time. We have a huge Russia storyline. We have a huge California storyline, and we have a big Hawkins storyline. So it's bigger in that sense. And in terms of the darkness, we did our big summer blockbuster season with season 3, and season 4 we just wanted to go. We wanted to go dark.
We wanted to be scary. Yeah.
We wanted to be scary. We've always wanted to do a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Never happened. We wanted to do it. Never happened. So this season we got all of that out of our system really by introducing this big new bad Vecna, who I think people are gonna love to hate this guy.
And also it's just big in terms of story, in terms of this is a season where we're revealing a lot of things about this other dimension, about the monsters there. I think fans have had a lot of questions over the years, and we've been purposely withholding some of that information, but now we're starting to peel back those layers, so we're excited to reveal that to people.